Hi, this is the video demonstration for final project in emerging technologies. My name is Devansh and I have here with me my teammate Ruchit Patel.
Hi
Uh,
there.
we will first show the application, then we'll explain the front end and back end application and how everything works. I'll also show how we cleaned up the data for machine learning and everything. So let's just hop right into it. So this is the home page or the login page for the patient. We also have a registration page if the user is not registered. So we can click here and we can enter a new patient. So I'll enter my name, Devansh, uh, and we can enter a patient ID, which will be the login parameter for this patient. It should be the way we have taken it that the hospital would provide the patient ID to the patient, and they would just register onto that with that ID, and they just enter a password. I'll keep the password simple here, password, and we click on register, and now that patient is registered. We'll save that, and if we go here, and now we can log in, and we can also log out. If you see here, the pages from the navigation bar are locked when the user isn't logged in. Once they log in though, and I'm logging into my account, which I created previously for testing everything, we can see that we can access the both the navigation from the navigation bar. We can access both the pages, home and games. Um, and we see here the tips that are provided me from the nurse. Those are the tips that nurse can provide to each and every individual patients, which we'll see on the nurse's side in a little bit. But this is how the application looks. Here we see the patient's information and a way to add the vital information, as well as the tips that nurse has provided on the specific dates. We can see messages here on April 6th, be careful, do exercise in the morning, stay healthy, be careful on your calories and stuff like that. And the nurse can even see your um, vitals, on which he can provide the tips. And here we are seeing all the vitals that I have entered for testing and everything. And I can also send an alert to the nurse if I have any emergency of any sort. So I'll just send an alert. uh, of I'll just send this message so that it looks different, and I just click on send alert button. And the alert has been sent. The nurse will give you a tip or contact you soon, and after a while it will show this page again, this box again. So that's the sending your nurse alert. So now I'm just gonna add a vital. So on the vitals we have blood pressure, body temperature, heart rate, respiratory rate, and weight. um, and we are even performing the machine learning function on this data to provide whether the patient is on disk or not. So I'll enter the body temperatures here. We can say 28, heart rate 45, blood pressure 121. I'll enter the 40 as the respiratory rate, which is a little bit higher. We'll enter that, and I'll click on submit. And we'll see that the vital has been added below April 20th. And on the top here we have the machine learning, which will show the results once we have processed the data. So we saw that it took a little bit of time to process the data, and it will give us the machine learning data. And here we see that there is 5.49% of a chronic chances of a chronic disease. So it's showing your vital shows you are at risk. Please send an alert to your nurse. Similarly, I'll try it few times again. So checking vitals, and again same results. I'm expecting a result where it shows you can play games and stuff like that. And a different type of input might cause that. I'll increase the weight a little bit, decrease the respiratory rate, click on submit. So it now shows that vital are okay because I entered some respiratory which is below or near average. And there's even one more which will show different vitals based on, or different messages based on your vitals. We have taken this data of Kaggle, which is a website which is solely for machine learning, but I'll show that later on. uh, there are also games on the website which it will suggest, so I can play any games I want. I won't go into much details, but here we can see the games, and you can start. It even stores your data once you're on website. And so I'm just going to log out now. We'll see the nurse's side, and I'll log in here as the nurse that I already have.
The nurse ID would be 1234.
Oh, 1234. Okay. 1234 and password. Okay, so here we see that alert that I sent from my account, the one I had before. We are able to see the alert message over here, and we have all the patients available here. This is the one that I entered right now with the ID with 0 vitals, and here are the other vitals that I entered with each date here. And from here I can send a tip, uh, say heavily need, and we'll just send a tip. It's showing the tip has been sent. We'll log out and check back onto the patient. So here we see the stay healthy, eat healthy tip that was specifically sent to me. If I send it to another patient, it would appear on the other patient's tips page. So that's the entire application we have.
Can you also show the functionality to add vital from nurse?
Oh yeah, so
side?
I'll log out, log in as a nurse.
1234.
Okay. 3, 4. Log in, and yeah, I'll enter into another account. So for example, this is a new patient. I can add a new vital: body temperature, heart rate, blood pressure, respiratory rate, and weight, and we can just click submit. So that vital has been added to the patient. Okay. And if I log in into that patient's account by 6 and log in, now we see that vital that the nurse has added. So that's the entire application. Ruchit will just explain quickly the front end part of it, which is not that complicated, and I'll go through the back end part with machine learning and everything.
Yeah. Thank you, Devansh. Can you give me the access of your controls?
Yeah.
I'll just go through all the folders, how they work, and the rest. So the main file is app.js. Okay, it's growing faster. Okay, so I have basically two parts, two folders here: nurse, one for nurse and one for patient. And for nurse, I have 3 routes. One is for login nurse, second is for homepage, and third is for patient's individual patient page to see their details. For patient's route, if I talk about patient's routes, then we have registration page, login page, home page, then games, and individual game page. Okay, let me go to patient's pages. Okay, this is the home page where we have all the vitals of the user. This one, yeah, that was the CSS. So this is the home page with all the vitals for that user. Then we have a login page here, which is doing the same thing as nurse login page. Then this is the registration page. Of course, we are validating all the inputs from the user, whether it is username or password or user ID. Then we have games.js with 3 games as of now. We can of course add them later on, but whenever a user clicks on one of the game, then we are redirecting it to game.js, and just displaying the embedded game from third party games. And then we have nurse folder in which we are showing all the profiles of all the patients, and on clicking on each of them we are displaying patient's detail, individual patient detail. And this file contains all the functionalities which are helping them to enter vitals and to uh, enter some alerts and those all things. So yeah, that was it for the React part. Devansh, can you explain your backend part,
Yep.
please?
Okay, so the backend is created on Express and Apollo, which is a GraphQL based library. Uh, we have similar structure here with GraphQL models. Uh, the GraphQL are of course the controllers, and models are the models for MVC structure. We have alerts.js, which will consist of patient ID, patient name, etc. And similarly, we have nurse, patient, and tips. Um, so those are the models. On the GraphQL side, we have the schema for all the functionalities that are the main core of the application. So it can be inputs, login, registration, everything is included over here, and the resolver is resolving all those schemas into whatever functionality that we need, similar to any other application. uh, and we have another folder here, which is the data. So we got the data of Kaggle, which is a which as I mentioned is a data website. So here I got this data which has over 4,000 data points, which includes things like dehydration, medicine, overdose, etc., which we didn't really need. And some of the things were needed, so example temperature, heart rate, and etc., were needed by us. So I created two JavaScript files, one for cleaning, for converting stuff. So we converted the CSV file into the converted JSON file, and the data cleaner then got rid of everything that we didn't need and added things like weight and blood pressure from the random data points, um, to just get the data that we needed. This, of course, is resulting in lower accuracy of predictions. For example, we are seeing that it's sub zero point 0.6 for all the predictions, um, and that is kind of a turn down. But it's with no other data, this was really helpful for us. So we just created this adjust.json, and then the machine learning is over here, which is predict.js, which is taking all the data, and it's actually using only 200 first 200 data points, because if you run it through 4,000, it takes a lot more time to process the data each time the request is made. So this is the whole creating the data mod using the models. We have input shape of 5, units of 6. This is the hidden layer, and this is the output, and then we are just running it with epochs of 200. And I'm using actually a different method. I'm just using the normal REST API, so that I can make two requests at the same time when the vitals are added. So I'm just using that at the same time, uh, which in which creates this functionality where I can add a vital, and it will create two requests, one for adding the vitals and one for processing the machine learning data, and showing you the risk analysis. So it says we see that it's added, but it's still checking the vitals, and then it says vitals are okay. So that's the machine learning part as well. That's our entire application. Thank you.
Thank you.